What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Toshi today. Hit that like button. You guys subscribe if you want to see more content like this. That was a weird hiccup burp. I don't even know what that was. And let's get into it. Okay, here we are at 30329, essentially 3033. Last week, we had a nice bullish engulfing candle up 46%, engulfing last week's close, last week's price action entirely. This week, we're closing at about neutral, 1% to the upside. That's nice to see a little bit of continuation, but a relatively neutral week. Sometimes this happens, especially after like an immaculate breakout like this. Whenever you see this kind of endeavor, you're just going to consolidate a little bit before continuing higher. It's very, very common when you're working your way higher to see downward sloping consolidation, work your way higher, downward sloping consolidation, work your way higher, right? So I very much do believe that what we've experienced here is the beginning of an overall move that will take you to inevitably new all-time highs. Okay, we're finding support here at our relative low that we just had, this higher low overall from this low here, finding support at prior areas of support here, prior areas of support here, prior areas of resistance back here. Okay, we're finding support there. We are above the 50 on the RSI, postured and poised, coiling up to see the overbought zone. We're in a really bullish kind of configuration right now, you guys. If we're looking at this from an overall high to a low on the fibs, you can see that we've interacted with the 236, and oftentimes with the 236, what you do on the first attempt is you break through it, then you come back to interact with it as support. That's what you do. So the fact that we've consolidated here below it tells me that our next run will likely not take us to the golden ratio, and that's fine. We're going to go there and more by the end of June. We're going to see dramatically higher targets than that. But by the end of this next move, I think that it's appropriate to consider targets that are just above the 382. When we go just above the 382, we've got areas of resistance here at about 3055 to potentially the closing lows here at about 306, right? Something in that area makes sense to me. If we look at this relative high to low here, that is our 1618, 1886, 200 area. Could we go higher? Absolutely, we could go higher. The highest that I would assume that we go, though, would be about 007. So not financial advice, not a financial advisor. This next move will probably happen by the end of April, and I doubt that we see anything that's probably even above like 00068. I said 007, I meant 0007. So 100% move is still possible. But then you're kind of in the middle of this consolidation phase here. This is a weaker reading on the fibs. That doesn't mean that you're going to have a weaker move overall. It just means that likely you're not going to rip right to the golden ratio. Now, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Sometimes weird shit happens. Maybe we do run all the way up to the golden ratio. That can happen. We have reasons for that as well. But I think more immediately by the end of April, we're looking to find resistance probably around 3055 to 306, somewhere 3062, somewhere in that area there, okay? We'll consolidate going into the end of the month, start moving up going into the beginning of next month, and that's whenever we'll see our golden ratio and beyond is sometime in May. Okay, that's my expectation here. So the next move, if it's not very clear, 3055, we're at 3033 right now. 3055 to 306 is the, or 6263, something like that. That's the target area with a nod of approval that we could see 3068, 307, something like that could happen as well. But I doubt that we get there, and I also doubt that we'd go above that at least by the end of the month of April. Not before consolidating, not before hitting this next move target, consolidating a little bit, and then moving up higher. But again, weird things happen. Sometimes you get these weaker readings in the fibs, and you still do promote a strong move. It can happen, and Toshi absolutely has a lot of strength to show, and it has a lot of growth to go. We're talking about the current price here at 3033, essentially right there. The minimum target to expect from here is at about a 13x. That's at 2045, 0.0045. That's the minimum target. That's where we expect the price to be by the end of June. If we're not here by the end of June, the next target area would be 0.0063, which I very much think we could see. Even above that, you might go slightly above that, guys. And this is a meme coin. Toshi is a meme coin, right? There's not really too many fundamental values backing this thing up, but there is a decent community behind Toshi, and it has a lot of exposure for a meme coin. It's very much available to basically the whole damn crypto space. You've got different exchanges, all kinds of exchanges, and it does have a lot of potential, I think. Being that it's paired with what, I mean, I wouldn't say there's no fundamental value. There is some fundamental value, but it's like memeonomics. It's like memetic fundamental value is really what it is. It's not like fundamental economic value. The only fundamental economic value it has is that it can make you money, and I think that it will. But the notion of going to these targets here and above, it's not something that's unfamiliar to the meme world, right? We've seen Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, Dogelon, Floki. We've seen all kinds of meme coins that have, you guys remember Solama, or what was the other one last cycle? Oh, I can't remember it, but there was some llama meme coins that did really well and saw multi-billion-dollar market caps and stuff like that. Doge and Shiba in particular saw, Doge saw a $90 billion market cap last cycle. Shiba saw a $55 billion market cap last cycle. If Toshi gets just a piece of that, and I think that it will, let's say it sees a $10 billion market cap, only a $10 billion market cap. Well, it's not quite 100x from here. 100x would be at about a $14 billion market cap, about a $13.5 billion market cap. That's 100x, but that's still probably like an 80 to a 90x, right? That's still phenomenal growth in a very short amount of time. That's just $10 billion. Now, $10 billion is a lot of money. $10 billion market cap is not given to any crypto. But when we compare it to some of the coins that it's trying to follow up against, so whenever it's, following the footsteps of Doge and Shiba, asking for a $10 billion market cap, that's not even half. If we wanted half, 25 billion, well, that takes us to about a 200x. 26 billion would be more of a 200x from here, 27 billion, but still 25 billion would be nearly a 200x. And something at that rate, if we were to look at this, let's just see, what would that be? What would we get? That would be just above the 2272. And it's very common with the 2272 to not stop right at it, to not stop right below it, but to stop just above it. And that would give you that $25 billion market cap, which again, that's about half of what Shiba Inu saw last cycle at its peak. So just illuminating the potential that this thing can have if, as a meme coin, it really does come into its own and it has a following, a lot of hype and a lot of hope and momentum driving it. I think that it will. These are the kind of targets that we could see, right? And if that's too bullish, that's fine. Maybe we only go to the 1.618, the golden ratio. This is at about 1 cent. That is a 31x to 32x, and that's exactly what the average altcoin is expected to do. This is exactly the average performance of the average altcoin in the top 125 specifically that we're expecting out of the rest of this cycle. So even at its pessimistic outcome, we're looking at an average performance, right? Pessimistic outcome is an average performance. You've got a winner here, guys. You definitely have a winner here. I think that 5 to 6 cents is a very, very solid target to think about whenever it comes to all-time highs. 1 cent, it's pessimistic, but we can accept it as a possibility. 2 cents, 2.6 cents, I like those targets as well, but I really do think that Toshi has 100x, multi-100x potential, and the reality of it is, you guys, this is just at half capacity. This is half mass compared to Shiba, right? And Shiba's not, it's not the end all be all. Just because Shiba saw a $55 billion market cap last cycle doesn't mean Toshi can't see that or can't see above that. It could, but I want to keep these targets below that if I can help it, right? And this target here, the 2618, that's all the way at about 12 cents. That's a 360x. That's still less than what Shiba Inu offered last cycle. So I'm just saying you've got a lot of potential. I'm not even trying to hit the surface of what your maximum potential is because I don't want to get people's hopes up too high. And I feel like I am already with this multi-100x potential, but this thing has a lot of room to grow. That's the main thing here, okay? As a meme coin, you're in better shape than most meme coins. You've gotten involved in a lot more crypto exchanges, okay? You've got higher lows overall. You found support here at this prior area of support here from a relative low to a relative high. You found support at your 786, immaculate support. You showed respect in your golden ratio, respect on your 0.5. There's definitely trading going on with this thing. Even here at these levels, even in these boring times, you're getting 9% volume daily compared to your market cap. That's desirable. That's better than a lot of cryptos with fundamental values backing them up that are not mimetic in fundamental values. This thing definitely looks like it wants to grow higher. Anytime you get below the golden ratio, that's whenever you look for the 786, 886, and potentially even extensions. Whenever you see these retracements, these 786, 886 retracements come into play, and then you get back above the golden ratio, that's when you accept this as a low, and that's actually when you start to look at new highs relative to this. If you want to be a stickler about it, if you really want to be conservative about it, I suppose the time to really look for new highs would be once you get above the 236. That's at 201136. If you get above there, on a daily basis, there's no questioning it at all that we're going to see new highs, okay? And again, the minimum target from here is about a 13x, right? That's all the way at, it's at 0.0045. That's where it is, right? And all it takes is just to close above this golden ratio, which if you look here, that's basically just closing above this high. If you can close above this recent high, that signals continuation. You close above the golden ratio, that signals continuation. So you're only about 6% away from that. Do that. I think you will by the end of this month, and we're going to be looking for new all-time highs in a very, very short amount of time over the coming months. I don't have anything else that I want to say. Daily RSI looks great. 4-hour RSI looks great. It actually looks like it's cooled off a decent bit there. 1 hour Makes me think you could go a little bit lower. Let's be honest. Let's be real here. Makes me think you could go a little bit lower, but maybe you're breaking out right now. But if you go a little bit lower, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if you do go below this low here, it's fine. Look at that. You're finding support right at the golden. You can't tell me there's not people trading this thing. You're finding support right at the golden ratio. But golden ratio support, 0.5 resistance, we've seen that before, and it took you all the way to the 786. So calling for a price at about 303, sure, we could see that. Am I holding my breath over that? No, absolutely not. TOSHI could just fly any day that it wants to, but I guess that is the call for now, is to go down a little bit, probably drop less than 10%, but more than 5% from here, and then from there resume your onward uptrend. Once we close above about 3036 on a daily basis, that's how we know that we're ready to rock and roll up to these higher targets around, again, 306 3 to 3055 by the end of the month. That's where I think we're going to go. Okay, I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, oh, you know what? I keep doing this. I mean to talk about the ribbon on some of these. If you did, hit the like button, you guys, and thank you all for being here. Daily ribbon looking like it wants to flip bullish, right? You find resistance when the ribbon flips bearish, bad, right? You go down. You come up to find resistance at it, bad. You go down. Now you're not finding resistance at it. You're actually finding support on it. You're living inside of it. You're about to flip this thing bullish. Look, you did this exact same thing here, back here, when you flipped it bearish. What are you going to do now? Except we don't really wonder, right? We assume to know. 3-day time frame here. Also looking bullish, not going to lie. If you can get above, yeah, basically if you get above this high here, you're flipping this thing bullish, which would look really good. And then we don't have enough time on the weekly to really associate this with anything on the ribbon. So looking good, man. Looking really good. I think that you're really set up in a prime posturing to see some growth here over the coming days, over the coming weeks, and over the coming months. But maybe over the coming hours, you go down just a little bit. Okay, that's all I got. Hit the like button. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.